Welcome to Forgotten Popcorn, where we talk about movies that have made us forget eating our popcorn. Today we're talking about Hacksaw Ridge. Guys, this movie has amazing scenes. Let's get right into it. Will.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite scene?
Favorite scene has to be when Vince Vaughn, Sergeant Howell, is going through the barracks, introducing himself at the start, and just destroying every single one of them. The writing for that is spot on, from Ghoul to Chief to Hollywood. Everything is perfect. I don't know what you guys thought about it, but him just going down the list. It's like, you? No, fuck you. You? No. It's just
it's so
perfect.
good.
It's perfect.
I loved it.
Especially how he starts off with the Ghoul, like, when did you die? He's like, Sergeant, sir? Sorry? Like, what? Just confused the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, Sergeant Ghoul is what it was at the end of it. He was like, that's what I'm going to call you from now on. Yeah, I mean, every single one is so funny. I mean, it's so reminiscent of, what's that film there with the same format of drill sergeant there?
I know what you're talking about.
Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah, I think,
yes.
So it's so reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love it. I Vince Vaughn in it too. Like, that's like surprise actor in it for me.
Yeah. I'm so used to seeing him in like those movies or whatever, but like the comedies, and then just seeing him come in comedy, and then it was good.
Yeah. It's like, okay, that's the Vince Vaughn I know. There we go.
Yeah.
I was surprised he can actually act. When the first time I watched that, I was like, whoa, he's not just a comedy, stupid actor. He can actually perform scenes.
He's surprisingly good. But maybe it's just that one of those roles, right? It's just like serious and really good.
Perfectly for
I mean, like one of my favorite scenes is like towards the end, when he's like carrying him back, and he basically has it rolled up on the cloth or the army medal. And he's like pulling him back, and he's like, they're talking to each other, and they're like saying like, you know what, like, let's actually do this. That's actually one of my favorite scenes, actually, too.
That's a good scene.
It's good. I like it. He's
I'll hop on. All right, let's go.
Yeah. So good.
Oh man, because like he's like, why are you holding the gun? No, don't hold the gun. He's like, wait, you're actually holding the gun? And then he's like, no, I'm just rolling it up to carry it.
He's like, now's the time you take a stand.
I know.
He does look down at the gun for a second. He's like, wait, I am holding a gun. Shit, whatever. Moving on.
Yeah, that's the whole movie is great. Another one of the scenes that I really love is before he's even allowed to go up to Hacksaw, the courtroom scene. So good, so powerful. So many great messages there. One in particular is his speech there to justify his reasoning for being allowed to fight. He said, like, essentially along the lines of like, I'm not going to be any further from the danger. I'm going to be right up there with them. Just because I'm not taking lives, I'll be saving them. Things like that. It's so good, so powerful in that scene.
I loved having his father come in.
Oh,
that was so good.
So good. His father is played so well throughout it. I'm blanking on the actor's name right now.
Me too.
I know it. I feel it. I know it because he is from The Matrix. He's I'm really blanking on the name because I did know it at one point, like, really well, because I was obsessed with The Matrix, but I'm just blanking right now. But yeah, his scene in there, while Will looks it up here, is unbelievable. You could really feel that sense of like loss in his character, and like he went through a war himself, and like now
Hugo Weaving, just real quick. Hugo Weaving.
Nice.
Thank you. And sense of loss, and just like that ability to like sort of come back after his friends had died, and like now he's got like to deal with the consequences essentially of like something that he thought he was doing right. As he even says in the courtroom scene, he says like, what you
if that's not why we did it, then I don't know why. I don't know why.
Defending the Constitution, why else do it if it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he has to go there and defend his sons, because both his sons are in the war now, not just Desmond.
That's right, yeah.
And now he has to go and be like, I don't want you guys to do this.
Yeah, that's right.
But look, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I got your back.
So I somewhat support it, but
which I mean, a huge development from the beginning when you like as soon as he says like, you're going to war, and then he like slams his arm on the table and at the dinner table, he's like, my kids are not going to war, like, and he starts talking about the story that he had heard in the not that but he saw that in his past, where he saw I forgot his friend, he said he was wearing such a beautiful suit, his whole uniform was clean, and from the front perfectly clean, but from the back, like all the blood and the guts. Oh man, it gets you understanding kind of like what he's been through, and then for him to step into that courtroom at that specific moment, you're like, wow, that's a pretty big step for him, supporting his son like that. Huge. huge.
Yeah. So emotional.
Mm-hmm. I think one of my because you mentioned is like before when you went to Hacksaw, right? It's one of your close to favorite scenes, pretty much, right? Your favorite scenes. I think when he like really towards the beginning when he fixes the guy's leg with a tourniquet.
Yeah,
I think that's also one of my favorite scenes too, because it really kind of like opens up. Without that, he would have never found out, right? That like he wanted to either like medicine or I guess healing people or helping people.
Yeah,
never would have found Dorothy, and never would have found out another way to go into the war and like help everybody else out. Not feel useless, I guess, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really like that scene too.
Yeah, and then later on when he is at Hacksaw, they do it like twice. They show it real quick of him doing another tourniquet on a guy's leg, like exact same spot.
That's it.
And you can just tell that like he's like, yeah, I've done this before. Sorry, let's go. Like boom. Yeah. It's super well done. The flashback to that, the callback. Mm-hmm. There's so many of those in this movie. So well done.
Yeah, there are a bunch. I'm actually like blanking on some of the outstanding scenes here. We talked about the lineup there. That's great. Even the sequences after they come out, they get out and they're actually on the training ground.
Yeah, the first training scene.
You can see even Doss, even though he's not conscientious objector, as we learned a little bit later in that sequence, he's still like a fit guy. He can still outrun, as he won the race against.
Smitty.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Will. And he still shows he's a capable guy. He's not like the most lean guy. He's very skinny, but his heart's there and his mind is there. He's a smart guy. So I love that sequence as well.
I think as you're looking it up, I think one of the scenes that you have written down, I'm assuming, is when he gets beat up and he like
literally the next one.
I had a feeling.
Yep. Unbelievable scene. Yeah. Unbelievable, and just hurts to think like that's true. Like
sleep hard.
I sleep hard.
That's what he says, right?
Never said I got beat up.
What
are we talking about? Yeah, no. The fact that actually happened, like you just said, it's just
it's horrible. But it shows this like he proved everybody wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing. Just to just through the ability to show his actions rather than his words and. He proved everybody wrong.
People from the start are saying like, how are you going to have my back? You don't have a gun. Like, how are you going to support me? Then later on, he saves like literally 90% of the people in his platoon from the start.
Yep.
It's like, here you go, guys. Don't have a weapon, but I'm right here with you, literally saving your asses.
Do any of you know the actual number?
No, actually, no.
Okay. Now,
are we about to guess?
Well, I mean, you can guess, but this is the number I got from the movie itself. Now, there's been speculation. I haven't read his. I'm sure he has a memoir somewhere that I'm probably going to read now. Yeah. But I got this number from the movie, and I'm not sure if this number from the movie is not correct because there are rumors that he saved more people than was actually said to be. It's just the numbers are lower because it's more believable. For the sake of the movie.
I feel like in the movie they say like 40-ish.
I think in the movie they say 40, maybe even less.
Which is still a crazy number. Like we're saying it's low to make it believable.
One by one,
while like Japanese soldiers are actively looking for him. That's a crazy amount still.
So the number at the end of the movie is 75.
Oh boy.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely absurd. And I just thought that was amazing.
Do we know how many nights is he up there?
I don't know.
I feel like they show like 2 in the movie, but
I think there's 2 nights when they are up there. Him alone, I think they only show 1.
Because like
there's 1 in the night and then 1 in the day when he's up there, and then the dust sort of goes away. And he's like, we just lost our cover.
Yeah.
And so he still goes. He doesn't care. He's like, I'm
saving lives.
Yeah, just 1 more.
Please God. Let me say one more.
Yeah. I mean, we can go right into that scene. That sequence is
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Truly inspirational.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like not just that whole scene, but this whole movie is very inspirational. Especially, I mean, religious or not, like if you have a belief in God specifically, this movie you'll see, you'll be like, oh, wow, that's like powerful. But like, even if you don't have any beliefs whatsoever, this movie will make you be like, oh, damn, this guy, like, he held strong to his beliefs. He didn't let anybody tell him no. Like, I mean, pretty much everybody was telling him no, right? You had
from the very start.
From the very beginning, everybody telling him no. Pretty much the only person telling him not know was Dorothy, I think, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
But even Dorothy.
She's mad, but she's like.
But exactly.
She understood from the start.
In prison.
Yeah. When he got put in the prison.
When he got put in the prison. She comes to him and I have a part of the quote. He says, "Maybe I'm prideful, but I don't know who I'm going to. I don't know how I'm going to live with myself if I don't stay true to what I believe." And then the quote continues with a little bit more. But I thought that part of the quote is pretty like on par for this entire movie. The message that's there is very obvious and very powerful because it's true.
Mm-hmm. I'm really glad you guys brought up like religion part, because on Letterboxd, literally the top review is like a 1.5 rating, and someone wrote like, if I wanted to have like Christian propaganda shoved down my throat, I would have gone to church. And I'm reading this and I'm like, what? Like, you're watching a movie made by Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Very religious man.
Yep.
About a religious guy who went to war. Like,
what
were you expecting this movie to be? Like,
it's a true story.
Like, is Saving Private Ryan just go in through pew pew? Like, no. Like, it's literally what the whole movie is about. You're getting like a 1.5 for Christian propaganda. Like, I read that and I was like, okay, come on. Like, clearly you didn't understand what this movie is about, the message of the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, some of the comments like under that review was like, yeah, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Go back to Twitter, like, people were just trolling her, and I was like, okay, thank God.
Yeah.
At least the community's still there.
Yeah. I think I can see the point of view for sure, but like, if it's not wrong necessarily, but you don't go to see Iron Man and be like, why is Iron Man in the movie? So like, it's that sort of thing. You have to set yourself. You have to be in the right mindset. You have to understand that's the type of movie you're going to see. Don't expect something otherwise.
Yeah.
But I see where it is. I mean, if you're not a super religious person, you can still take a lot away from the movie regardless.
Yeah.
A lot.
For sure.
It's not just religion. Yeah, religion is what pushed him to be the person that he is, and like, but it's not just that. Even without religion, you could still say he was going to be a non-violent guy, considering his childhood and everything that happened, and how he almost basically killed his brother and whatnot. So, just that alone, if you're not a person of faith, you're still gonna feel otherwise against violence, right? It's just,
would he have held the gun? Maybe. Would he have shot?
Probably not.
Probably not. No.
That's what I'm also thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But, straight from the start, and they should have known that. Like,
I love the fact that he saves also the Japanese people's lives.
Yeah, exactly. They mentioned that. Yeah. It's a really good. Yeah, I love that sequence when they come back and they're like, "You got to see this." I don't remember.
I think it's like the captain.
One of the captain. I can't remember. I have the scene here.
Played by Sam Worthington.
Yep, that's right.
Captain.
Yes. Captain Glover.
Okay,
yes,
that's his name. Yes, because he has a scene that I'll talk about afterwards. But he's like, "You got to see this, right?" And then they're just like all these people from Hacksaw Ridge that like come down. And he's like, yeah, even some Japanese people too. That's really, that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, he had absolutely zero, biased. He was like, I see a life, I'm going to save it. He's like, the people down there, he doesn't care. He's saving the life.
There's even, that reminds me of the sequence there where I can't remember what part of the movie it's actually in, but when he's up there and he's running around and, I think it's when he loses cover on the morning of when he brings down Howell, but he ends up having to like run into a ditch or into like a underground. I don't know what you call it. Like
it's like a tunnel.
Like a tunnel. Yeah. I guess that they had so they can like tunnel underground to get other ground. But he ends up running into a Japanese soldier, and who's I believe is wounded. I think.
Yeah, he's like shot in the chest.
He's shot in the chest or something. Yeah. And then he's like, without even much communication, just shows his way, does everything that he knows is right, patches him up, and and then moves on, leaves him, doesn't care. So like that so tells so much about the character. I still cannot get it out of my head that this is a person. This is an actual person.
Yeah, real story.
In the worst of times, honestly,
it's stories like these that I've heard about, that especially like Desmond Doss. As well as the Schindler's List, for example, and there was this also German soldier who they haven't made a movie about him that I heard of, but he basically saved like a bunch of lives, a bunch of little children in the Holocaust, and he basically was like carrying each one of them one by one from like a train, I think it was, and then at one point like way later down, they basically said, "Oh, we want to bring you to like an event." Like, I mean, this was like a couple of years ago. You heard
I know
about
the
that?
person you're talking about.
And then like a couple of years ago, and in that auditorium, they basically said, "Okay, so who was saved by this man?" And then one person stands up. They say, "This person, please stand up. You were saved by this man, correct?" And then he's like, "Oh my God, like I don't even recognize you. You know, like that was so long ago. That was over probably 30 or 40 years ago since the Holocaust, right?" And then the person speaking says, "Well, whoever was saved by this man, please stand up." And the whole auditorium stands up. It's like, it's stories like these that you just can't fathom to like understand, right? You're just like, this is real people that like risk their whole lives to like actually save so many people.
In literally the craziest of times.
Yeah, in war, in these crazy times. And something like this gets depicted into a movie and it's done super well. It gets a whole lot of attention.
Oh yeah,
like Desmond Doss, that's his name, right? And it's known now. For this man, I feel so bad.
I found it.
Yeah. Okay.
So your story's correct.
Yeah.
Except for one thing.
Yeah.
He's not German. He's from the UK.
Okay, that's what it was.
But regardless, story still stands.
Yeah.
His name is Nicholas Winston.
Nicholas Winston.
And you're right. That like everything you said, 100% right. There are documentaries and whatnot, but I don't believe, no, from what I see here, they haven't done a legit like
feature
proper
film. Yeah.
They should. They 100% should.
Mm-hmm.
And just look at the success of every like true story about war they make. They're all super successful.
Yeah.
Schindler's List, this Hacksaw Ridge, 1917 is based on a true story.
Yeah.
Like every single one they make is always a hit. So I don't see why they wouldn't make this one either.
Specifically, like you want to like, not I guess you'd be calling it propaganda if you want to like push it so that people go to war, but it's more so like so you can see and understand people's stories, right?
Yeah.
History is history because like history is taught so it doesn't repeat itself.
Exactly.
Right. So you want to have it up there so like people can understand, see what people have gone through, understand the situation, not have it repeat itself.
Yeah.
One of those things 100% should be like made into a movie like this.
Yep.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Crazy movie. Yeah.
Yep. I have nothing to add to that.
I just dropped it off there and I was like, okay, I just wanted to bring that story.
No,
in. Sorry.
It's a great opinion. It's a phenomenal opinion about true stories in general and it doesn't have to be war alone, but there's extremely inspirational, especially when you can actually see, because it shows that like this wasn't just thought up. This was an actual person who did all these amazing things, like Doss did, all these amazing things to help during the war, and things that, you know, because it's easy just to, I mean, it's not easy necessarily. I'm not war and picking up a weapon to kill other people at the say of your government really isn't an easy thing. But it's especially difficult to go against something that is common, right? Because
to go against the whole establishment.
Yeah.
Everyone's telling him, no, you can't do this. Like, you need a gun.
Yeah.
Literally from his sergeant to his captain to the people even higher up. But it's like, why do I need a gun? If I don't want one, why are you stopping me? Like, I'm gonna be a medic. I'm gonna save lives. I don't need a weapon.
Yeah.
They're gonna defend me. I'll defend them.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Going back to scenes, I mean, we talked about some of the really amazing ones, and I'm not saying there aren't many left, but I think we've like nailed a lot of the really big ones. One I wanted to talk about, we talked about Captain Glover a bit earlier, and I want to bring back to this. It's important because he does show up a bit later in the movie, and talk about his appreciation for Doss and sort of that connection after Doss comes back from his final descent after he brings back Sergeant Howell and Hollywood down from Hacksaw, and he just says, you know, he's like, I've never been more wrong about a man in my life, essentially, and he apologizes, and then he even says, like, we know tomorrow is your
Sabbath,
exactly, and we'd like you to lead us into the next, you know, and then they end up going through. But I wanted to jump to, before I jump to, I want to talk about the final scene, which is pretty much where we're leading here. But is there any other scenes that you have in mind that prior to this?
No, the last one I had in mind was literally that last scene of him praying before going up.
Yeah, me too. That's the only one I was thinking about.
Yeah, we're on the same page here.
Yeah. Okay. Is it okay? Well, mine is more about the end of the film.
Okay.
Anything you want to say about the prayer sequence and anything that leads after it?
Oh, well, it's just a perfect transition from what's his name was Captain
Glover.
Captain
Glover, from him saying like I apologize, I've never been more wrong, to then like him telling the higher ups like, yeah, we're just waiting. Like, waiting on what? Doss is praying. It's like, okay, like everyone's like so confused. Like, no, let him do his thing. Clearly, it's been working.
Yeah.
And then like every soldier's just waiting, and he slowly turns around like, all right, let's go back to work, boys. And they all just, yeah. No, that's
powerful scene.
So powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
I love it. It's a great thing because we just talked about religion and how like not everything in this movie is about religion necessarily. Like you can get more out of it, but even for those soldiers who don't believe necessarily in what Doss believes in, they still believe in a type of faith, and whether that's just like luck or whatever it is, there's something there that reminds them that they might be okay.
Yeah.
And if not that, they believe in the man who has the faith, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it's like you have such strong faith. Desmond Doss, right, has that strong faith that everybody just kind of wants to believe him even more. Yeah. So gathering these huge like army like buffs, I guess, right, from this platoon that like would beat him up for his belief are now like waiting to even go into the line just because of him. It's a huge, really, really powerful scene. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what really drives home after all of that is, like we've said the entire time, like still just baffled that this is true story, and to have the sequences at the end showing the real Desmond Doss and including Glover as well. It's just a huge contrast between you just watched a Hollywood production of this, and yes, some of it's a little bit overdone for the sake of Hollywood.
Yeah.
But the true story at its core is still there, and then to have the actors show up and like, not the actors, but the real characters. Oh my goodness, people.
They're people, Alex. Come on.
To have the real people show up and it's just amazing to see, really. Like,
especially the clip of Captain Glover. I don't know if you noticed, but he is crying while he's like retelling this. Yeah. There's tears dropping down his eyes, and it's like, yeah, I was so wrong. I can't believe it. Still, I don't know how many years later, probably like 40 years later, it's like, man, how wrong was I? No, it's super powerful to have that at the end. I loved it.
I find in movies like this, it's extremely, I guess, realistic is the word I'm looking for, because it brings you back down, because you're watching this movie, you were like, oh my god, this movie, like exactly like you said, but then at the end of the movie some people usually just leave and they're like, okay, that was a good movie, but then it brings you back down and says, hey, this was a true story, remember it, like this was true, this actually happened. I keep going back to Schindler's List because they do something similar at the end too, where they go and they walk in the Jewish cemetery, I believe in Jerusalem, I might be mistaken. It's like it's a huge Holocaust thing in Jerusalem, where they have like a bunch of Holocaust like cemeteries. They do something very similar where they have a bunch of survivors that go and they pretty much like walk around, and then it makes it more real than what it is, right?
Yeah.
It makes it more real to the viewer. Excuse me.
It takes you out of Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly, and it's extremely well done. Extremely well done. You feel so much more connected to you were connected throughout the whole film, but you feel this sense of
adds that little extra connection.
Yeah, like, just little.
This is him, not Andrew Garfield. This is Desmond.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
It. Yeah. You literally hooked it.
Fully agree with you.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good transition to let's talk about Andrew Garfield in this.
Yes.
Let's.
Yes.
I don't know if I'd really seen Andrew Garfield in anything other than Spider-Man at that point. I'm trying to think. No, I don't think I have.
I haven't seen many of Andrew Garfield.
No.
Me neither.
Which is kind of a bad thing to say now, because like obviously this is great performance, but
I've seen the one where he's doing like the show and everything. I forget what that one's called.
Tick, Tick, Boom.
Yeah, Tick, Tick, Boom.
That's my personal favorite Garfield performance.
Okay, so we've seen Tick, Tick, Boom. We have Hacksaw Ridge. We have Spider-Man.
Yeah.
After that, I haven't seen, I don't think, anything else from him.
Just trying to Google a show that I saw him in with, Through the Eyes of Tammy Faye. He's good in that.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't bad in that too.
He's pretty good in that, actually.
I sure completely forgot that.
That's a very good movie.
I completely forgot about that one.
But he's pretty darn good in that as well. Tick Tick Boom. Oh yeah, I guess he's in. Oh yeah, he's in Social Network. Forgot about that.
Oh whoa!
Wow,
we're stupid. Yeah,
forgot about that. To be honest,
I love that scene where he's like
that was a while ago. Give ourselves a little
God.
bit of slack there. That's 13 years ago. So give us a little bit of slack there. That's a great one. What else has he been in? He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's in that Scorsese one there.
In Silence. I really want to watch it. My brother saw it and he told me it's about, I guess, missionaries. Basically going to preach the word of God. I don't want to mess it up and say where they're going, but they're going to basically an Asian country or Asian island, and they're trying to basically convert them into Christian people. And it's a whole it's a realistic side to see what's going on their side as missionaries, understanding and trying to convert people.
Right.
And it's really, really tough because Liam Neeson's also in it too.
Okay.
So it's Liam Neeson and Andrew Garfield. It's a good mix. And Martin Scorsese. It's
it's been on it's a movie that's been on my watch list for so long
Me
now.
too.
I just never got around to
You
it.
gotta watch it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this Hacksaw Ridge is probably, now that you remember Social Network, I'd have to say probably top 3 Andrew Garfield performances for myself.
Yeah.
Tick Tick Boom, Social Network, and then probably this.
I think I'm pretty biased for Spider-Man because his movements I find just push him a bit above. He had a lot of movements in Tick Tick Boom where he basically had to show off, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I find in terms of performance, I find I gotta give it to him for Spider-Man, maybe the second one a bit more for the amount of movements, the amount of expression he had to give out. I think it's my favorite role from him.
Fair enough. Can't blame you.
Yeah, just he's an incredible actor. Has he won an Oscar actually?
He's definitely. I'm gonna
Oh
say
yeah,
definitely.
I have
He's
this in my
nominated.
notes. I have this in my notes.
He has to be nominated.
Here we go. I wrote it. So
Let's hear it.
Nominated for Hacksaw Ridge.
Okay, good. Nice.
Obviously,
Fully deserved.
Yeah.
did not win.
Oh boy.
Fortunately, there was a certain person who might have been by the sea that year that won.
Manchester by the
Yep.
Sea. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Casey Affleck.
And he was also against
yeah.
Denzel Washington for Fences and Ryan Gosling for La La Land. So it was
Back
very
year.
tough
Oh
year.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough year, but I can definitely see Casey winning that.
Yeah.
Casey winning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's
you
not
really
surprising.
can't argue against that performance. My
Yeah.
God. You want to talk powerful? Ooh, boy.
It's a very tough group to be a part of,
Yeah.
but it doesn't take away from his performance in this.
No, not at all.
I still think he's probably he's a very talented actor. The fact that he's able to transition from so many different accents and dialects and things like that, it is very impressive and not easy, So we all are very appreciative of his art form, and his ability in this movie is very difficult as well, because it's not easy to portray that shy-ish, boyish type of character that he plays through a screen, when in reality, when you're on screen and you're in a movie, you have to be a little bit more, not persuasive, but just bigger with your movements and emotions, because that's just how it works. So to be able to portray that and have to be small really is impressive.
Yeah. I find maybe his Peter Parker role helped out a lot, because I guess Peter Parker is supposed to be a shy character. Yeah. Him playing that and then coming to see him as Desmond Doss, you can see a lot of similarities in the way he plays them both. But I find the way Desmond Doss's character is a lot how Peter Parker's character was around Gwen Stacy, because that kind of lovey-dovey, kind of shy, I don't know what I'm doing.
Shy and awkward.
Shy and awkward, I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I'm doing this right. I'm trying to be funny, but I'm trying to be a lover boy, and I'm trying to be nice. I feel it's the same kind of hit or miss for both. I think sorry, not hit or miss. What am I saying? It's the same kind of portrayal he has in both. I like it.
That's true. It's kind of his date with Dorothy and Hacksaw Ridge.
That's it.
Yeah. On her first date, it's so what's the difference between an RV and a vein? It's no, buddy.
That's not a good talk. What are you doing?
So good. Yeah, that's a great. She's a great part of the story as well. Yeah. Very important. Sort of his rock when it comes to, as we saw, the prison part and everything like that, and throughout the entire film, she's referenced. That was his motivation throughout the film, obviously, who, you want to go home to the ones you love, and not only for your country, but, there's exterior motives as well, right?
Mm-hmm,
so,
of course.
I love her character in it. I thought they were sweet. They were great. And the connection was there. The chemistry's there. Not easy to achieve in Hollywood. Don't watch Ghosted, everybody. Never watch that film. I just want to put that out there.
I love it. I love how we always come back to this.
It's the chemistry. No, because for me, like...
I'm sorry, guys.
We mentioned it one time on the podcast.
Yeah.
But like chemistry on screen is a really difficult task at hand. It's two strangers, or maybe sometimes it's not strangers. Sometimes these people work together multiple times. But in most part, it's people who only spend maybe 90 days together. It's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
And to portray that chemistry together is really difficult in film. And it comes down to a lot of what the director does as well. But at the end of the day, it's your performance. And both of them in this, Dorothy, very great in it, and not for a second did I not buy it. So
yeah,
I've heard like Andrew Garfield is an incredibly nice guy. That must definitely help play a role too, because I've heard he got along extremely well with Vanessa Hudgens for Tick Tick Boom. Got extremely well with Gwen Stacy. How they even dated.
Yeah.
And then like now this role too. He's like, I've heard he's just a very like genuine, very nice guy, easy to talk to, and he just gets along with the workers, making him easy to work with.
That's good.
Yeah, for this kind of role, I guess you need to be that nice person, right, to be able to get those people around you, and like it's good. He's okay. I have a question for you guys, because he's a very good actor, very very great in this. Compared to what he was like up against, obviously Casey Affleck, and a bunch of these people, Denzel Washington. Do you guys think if he were with a different category of people in that year, should he have won an Oscar for this performance?
You know what? As Will answers this, I'm going to look up like a year ahead and see what the category was, or see who was in the category, to see if maybe the year, if the movie moved a year or something, if he would have had a better chance.
I want to say definitely, if the group is right, that's definitely an Oscar-winning performance. But again, that Denzel, Gosling, Casey, like that's just a crazy group to come up against. But I almost want to say like maybe the year Leo won for Revenant.
Literally the next year. I was
Wow. I think that probably wins over Leo's Revenant. Although, again, not take away from Leo. That is a good performance.
Let's see who Leo was against.
Oscar?
And then,
it's his only Oscar, which I think is ridiculous.
Ooh, are you sure?
I don't fully remember. I don't remember
the nominees. The ones he beat out were Bryan Cranston for Trumbo, Matt Damon for The Martian,
okay,
Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, and Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl.
That's the last one, Eddie Redmayne. I think that's probably the strongest out of that list.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think Matt Damon's pretty good too. Maybe not good enough to beat out Leo, but would Andrew Garfield be able to beat out the rest of those guys too? I
haven't seen Trumbo, or what is that called?
Seen it
I haven't seen Danish Girl.
Yeah.
It's like Eddie Redmayne's performance in that is incredible.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal actor. I really like him.
Yeah.
Personally, I think this Andrew Garfield performance does beat out Leo's Revenant.
Fair.
Even though it's a good performance, that should not be Leo's Oscar. That's all I'm trying to say.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that.
If this was like his third Oscar, fine, I guess.
Yeah.
The fact that it's his only one is
annoying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is there anything Leo's done like since then that would really give him a chance again? Like he wasn't really.
And his only one is Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
which is very divisive.
Yeah. It's good, but would he have won in that year? Probably not.
I think so.
That year was just.
It was 2019, right?
2019.
So it would have been 2020 Oscars.
Yeah.
2020 Oscars. Oh, was that when we looked up Hopkins? Was that 2020?
I don't know.
Because last episode we were confused who won an Oscar in 2020. I think it was because we were joking about how Tom Cruise might have won an Oscar that year. That was 2021.
Yeah, I think it's 2021.
No, Hopkins won the 2020 Oscars, yes, for a 2019, because The Father is a 2019 movie.
Right.
Okay.
There you go.
So,
you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's what we were talking about.
So what was the question?
And then we all just
does Andrew Garfield should it have won an Oscar given a different group?
Right. Yeah. And then we were talking about Leo's.
Yeah. If Leo would have, if his performance in Hollywood, Once Upon a Hollywood, would have won, would he have won? No, probably not.
Probably not.
Anthony Hopkins is unbelievable.
I
haven't seen it. I was telling Alvaro last. It's one of those movies that
it's a hard one.
You got to be in the mood to watch. So still, I don't know. I looked up the year prior for to see if Andrew would win, and no, he probably wouldn't have either.
Okay, that's straight off the back.
The nominations were I cannot pronounce that.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Thank you.
Yes. I saw like you.
I could. I was trying to. I did not pronounce. I'm sorry. See, Will. Just he's helping with my pronunciation. So he was 12 Years a Slave for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Leonardo DiCaprio for The Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
Bruce Dern for Nebraska and Christian Bale for American Hustle. Does anybody remember who won that year?
Oh, it's not. Oh, I was gonna say Chiwetel.
Me too.
The one who won, he was pretty all right.
McConaughey?
McConaughey won for Dallas Buyers Club.
Of course.
Oh.
So I don't think Andrew would have won that year. Would he have beaten out some of those? Maybe, but I don't think he would have won.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So that's a pretty tough category.
Okay, given a weaker group, yes, I think he wins. Plus or minus 1 year, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. Great performance, Oscar worthy. Yes. Yes, Oscar worthy, but with the right grouping.
Yeah, on the right night.
Yeah,
for sure. That's wins, of course.
I wanted to ask you guys because I think the only I don't know what other movies Sean Worthington has been in other than like Avatar.
That's all I know.
Which one? The first one or the like 5 that are coming?
The first one, second one. He was also in this movie I think called Titans. Or something like that,
Yes, that is him.
Yeah, and this one too. But he always plays a military person, doesn't he?
I think it's
even Titans. Like it's not military that we know, but it's military from ancient Greece or ancient. But it's true. Now that you say that.
Yeah. It's like he's always playing either a military soldier or an army or just someone in army or soldier. Like I don't know what's up with him.
Well, you could say the same thing about Andrew Garfield. He plays in a lot of religious movies.
True.
And he does a show as well. If you guys have seen Under the Banner of, hold on, I had it before.
I have not seen it. I'll tell you after that. I have not seen it.
Either Under the Banner of Heaven.
I want to say Heaven. Yeah.
I think it's Under the Banner of Heaven. Yeah.
Yeah. I've not seen it yet. No.
I watched most of it. Didn't finish it. It's good. It's on Disney Plus. But yeah, he does a decent amount of films that have religious, like enough for you to go, oh, that's not surprising. Like Mel Gibson, right? Mm-hmm. So it's.
Is he a religious man? Is Andrew Garfield like?
I think I don't know if he's like has spoken openly about it, but like I said, like not everybody's pushed towards faith, and like that's your choice or whatever, and that's not the only way of going through life. But he did lose his mother, and he's talked quite openly about that.
Yeah, that's true.
And I find the way that he speaks of that, and he's very not afraid to talk about it, is, in my opinion, a little bit more religious like. And the way he speaks about it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
So I wouldn't be surprised if he is, but I don't think he's like openly.
Without necessarily being religious, he has some faith. He has something to believe.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, that's cool then, because that's true. Like even in the eyes of Tammy Faye, he's literally a TV preacher.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like when they had like
it's
shows where they just preach to people.
Yeah. I think he was nominated for supporting in that.
I think he was.
I don't think he won either.
No.
So, wait, are you trying to tell me he has no Oscar wins at all?
I believe that's what he was trying to tell you. Yeah,
because I remember I asked, I think a while back. I think that was my main question when he came into the Oscars. Did he win an Oscar?
I mean, I can't remember.
I guess not.
No,
I don't know if In Silence won anything. Maybe he won like supporting or something.
Movie came in 2021, so it's 22 Oscars. He did not win. I can already see it from the searches. I just want to see who. If you, I know he was that was the Will Smith.
Yep.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
That's so long ago.
Yeah, it feels like it was. It's not that long ago, actually. It just feels very long.
Wait, wasn't it literally earlier this year?
Huh?
Was the Will Smith slap 2020 like?
It says the Oscars of 2022. So it makes sense because we had we had one Oscar since, and everyone was like, "Oh, is anything gonna happen this time?"
Right, they brought it up like a million times.
They didn't shut up.
Right,
Yeah.
Super annoying.
How could I forget?
Let's see. So, by the way, Jessica Chastain won for her role as Tammy Faye.
Okay, fair.
Which makes sense. Let's see.
I'm thinking he was maybe also nominated for Social Network.
Ooh, that's a good point.
But probably
I'll look
didn't
that up
win
too.
either.
Yeah, probably didn't win.
I scrolled too far.
I know Social Network won the soundtrack. I remember that.
I remember us talking about that. Yeah.
So he wasn't nominated for actor in supporting role because he was nominated for actor in a leading role.
Oh.
For Tick Tick Boom.
Oh, interesting.
Both, which is impressive.
Right.
He did not win. As we know, Will Smith won. He was up against Javier Bardem for being in the Ricardos.
Yeah.
And Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog, which I watched. Not a bad movie. He's good in it. Yeah. Movie's
overrated in my opinion.
Denzel Washington for Tragedy of Macbeth. The Tragedy of Macbeth.
So you know what?
Right.
His Hacksaw Ridge performance in that group makes things very interesting.
Yes.
Because I think his Tick Tick Boom performance should have won that year. They give it to Will Smith, whatever.
Sure.
I think Hacksaw Ridge could have competed as well in that.
Yeah, you know, that's a really good point. Put that in there.
That's a fairly weak group. Yes, they're big names, but it's none of they're not career-defining roles in any of those.
No.
For none of those actors.
No.
So I think he could have won that.
I definitely think so. What do you say? Social Network?
Social Network, yeah. Just real quick as the last one.
What year was that? Does anybody? 2010. The movie came out.
2010 movie.
Right? Yeah,
2011 Oscars.
Okay. Here we go. Going back. By the way, Oscar, if you're listening, the Academy, fix your website. It's bad.
Yep. I hate going on it. I honestly prefer the IMDb version of it.
Yeah, right. That's what I was gonna do, but I'm just. He would be supporting, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He is not nominated.
Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah. It won some stuff, right? I think it won sound. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see.
Or original score. Is that what it's saying?
Inception won cinematography.
Whoa.
Nice.
Oh, it's the Alice in Wonderland year too. Costume design. That's cool.
Oh.
Directing, King's Speech. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow, there are so many. Film editing. It won.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. And original score.
There you go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I guess his role wasn't. Although yes, to the story, it's a big role. In the movie itself, he's not very present.
Yeah,
he has
it's
that
hard
one
to give
crazy scene.
Yeah. When he's like,
he's not really a supporting necessarily.
Yeah,
it's hard to.
It almost would have been more Justin Timberlake, like the supporting actor.
Yeah,
in the movie
100%.
Like,
yeah, I agree.
I don't think he was nominated either. If I remember scrolling past it.
If Justin Timberlake is an Oscar-nominated actor,
that actually
yikes, we need to revisit Friends with Benefits.
Isn't he in Trolls?
He is in
He might get original song. That song plays a lot at the end. Stuck in my head.
Yep. From cleaning those theaters.
Cleaning the
I
theaters.
don't know how many times I heard it today.
It's like sunshine in my ear holes is all I remember from that entire. It's the very end of the thing.
That's how it ends.
Anna Kendrick goes, it is her, right?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and she goes, it's like sunshine in my ear holes. It's so random. It's like the
end
most.
of the credits. That's literally how.
God.
Yeah.
Anybody who works with me while that song's playing hates me because I just annoyingly dance to it. It's great.
You gotta have fun when you're cleaning theaters, man.
You have to. Yeah. I picked up hair the other day, so.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that's an interesting.
Just a ball of hair. Yeah, it's very interesting. Actress in supporting role. Nope. No, he didn't. Nope. So, nope.
So I'm gonna say no Oscar yet.
No Oscar yet.
Yeah, he's still young. He's still got so much time, and you know him. He's only gonna pick up good role after good role. I mean, has he really turned in a bad performance?
Not that I know.
Not that I know.
Yeah, you really have to be picky. Right?
Nah, it'll come. One day it'll be his time for sure.
Yeah.
He's fully deserving of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a Leo scenario, right? At one point, it's gonna click, and he will get his.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think Leo may deserve it a bit more for his performances, other than our boy Andrew, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're looking at the large aspect of it, career-wise, Leo probably deserves it a bit more.
For sure.
Yeah, I know. I 100% know what you mean.
But you're 100% in terms of if you're comparing career-wise, Leo's career spanned over a long time, you know, and he's done so much work. Mm-hmm. And again, another guy who never turns in a bad performance. I mean, even his mediocrity in The Great Gatsby, which a lot of people think is not his greatest performance, is still a good performance, and it's a movie I still stand by. I enjoy that. Yeah, of course, I am a big Baz Luhrmann fan. Obviously, he's a weird style that I just like visually. He has such a fun way of doing things. But anyways, Andrew's great. This movie, Hacksaw Ridge, is just an incredible... I want to find a memoir of Desmond Doss now. I really do want to read about it and see what he has to say.
On him
it's got to be something, I'll get around to that at some point.
It was probably released, kind of like all the Oppenheimer thing was being released now.
Yeah.
It's probably the same thing. Released a movie, boom, memoir. I see you smiling.
You just had to bring up Oppenheimer.
I had to bring it up. We haven't done it yet.
Did we bring it up? We did bring it up last episode.
There we go.
Yeah, it was like, hi, welcome. Will's not here. Here's a giant Oppenheimer poster in return.
Right in the middle.
It's like you're gonna just, I don't know. Yeah, we still got the stuff up and everything like that. We're ready to go. Hopefully, we're properly preparing for it because we want it to be done correctly.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get an IMAX camera, so but
oh boy.
Yeah, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna get it done correctly so that it's enjoyable for you guys and proper. It's gonna be a lot of information for sure, right? I mean, we're gonna have a lot to say. Yeah. It's one of our favorite movies of the year, if not the favorite. I watched The Holdovers recently. That was really good. It could very much be in contention for Oscar conversation. I still think Cillian will probably walk away with the leading role. But there's a lot of really good stuff that Paul Giamatti did, and the movie's just really good. It's just as if anybody hasn't seen it yet and it needs something to push them to go and see it. I like it because it's a holiday movie. It's it's very Christmas, but the themes aren't necessarily complicated. There are some more touchier themes that aren't usually done in Hollywood Christmas movies. But what I love about the movie is that it doesn't just tell you how you should feel about those themes. It lets you decide how you want to feel about them, which is not done at all, I find, recently. So it has very high praise if you've looked up at any of the numbers, but I won't spoil for anybody.
What I also like from what I'm seeing so far from it, it's very reminiscent of like you guys did Good Will Hunting last episode. Very reminiscent of like the Good Will Hunting, Dead Poet Society type of movies.
It's based in the 70s, so I had said it gives me a very 90s.
Okay.
Which is very much Dead Poet, late 80s, 90s Goodwill.
Yeah.
But it still feels that way, but I guess there's a possibility that the artistic vision hasn't changed that much in that span. But it's really good. Like even my dad who was watching with me, like the first couple of shots of the film show, and he's just like, wait, like this isn't like, he leans over to me, he's like, this is very like 70s. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's why I want to watch it. Yeah. It's like really good. So yeah, even he enjoyed it. And it's very like slow going. So, but it's really impactful.
I need to go watch that for sure. I do think I'm hearing a lot about it. So it will be in the Oscar buzz.
I'm really hoping they do release it before the holidays, like just before the holiday rush ends, so people can watch it with their families and stuff like that, because it's a very, very strong message in it. We bring that up because we would like to hear from you guys. If you have any ideas for films for the holidays, we'd like to know them. Maybe we'll get around to watching them for one of the episodes. We should have a holiday episode coming up. Hopefully Oppenheimer first, but if not, look forward to that. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. There's so many great holiday movies out there.
So many options.
Your cliche ones, your go-tos, your
green sweater and red sweater.
Exactly. Your hallmarks.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we're really looking forward to that. Any last things to say, guys?
No. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. I think that's all for Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate you all. Check out the Spotify and have a great day.